Hey Boomers, Marcia here with HomeHealthPT.com. We're going to talk about glute sets today. What are glutes? Glutes is basically your butt or your bottom, whatever you want to say. It's the big muscle. I like to call it the back door muscle because a lot of times if you've had a knee replacement, hip replacement, knee surgery, hip surgery, you're going to be laying down for a while and that muscle gets really weak. That muscle has to support you when you walk. It's a muscle that keeps you from falling over. A lot of people just breeze by the glute set. Glute sets are an isometric contraction, as is any exercise that generally ends in the word set. That means it's an isometric contraction. You really don't move any joints, you just tighten a muscle. So let's get busy and I'll show you a few tips and tricks that will make this exercise comfortable and efficient for your rehab process. The glute sets are very, very, very important. It's your butt muscle. And your butt muscle actually is the muscle that extends your hip when you walk. Let's think about kicking a ball. When you were a kid, you probably kicked a ball once in your life, and you reared your leg back so that you could kick the ball. Well, the muscle that pulls your leg back is your glute muscle. It's your hip extensor. There's a few other muscles that assist in that, but for the most part, this is your glute muscle, and this is why glute sets are very important in your rehab process. Basically what you're going to do with glute sets, you can lay all the way down flat if you want. You can come up on your elbows, you can sit up. It really doesn't matter. What does matter is that the exercise is comfortable, okay? And you really can't see anything when I do this exercise, but what you're trying to do is squeeze your butt cheeks together right here. You scoot down a little bit. So you're squeezing your butt cheeks together, holding for 8 to 10 seconds. And then relaxing. Squeeze, hold, relax. It's important that you hold it that long because that really builds up the muscle strength in that muscle. And considering that you're going to be laying around for a few days, that muscle is going to get awfully weak. So you really need to get on the ball and get it strengthened. One way that you can remember how to do this exercise is to pretend that you got a $100 bill between your butt cheeks and you're just squeezing with all your might to keep it there. But you just want to squeeze your butt cheeks together and then relax. What you want to do as far as repetitions, you want to try and work between 10 and 20 of these. Always remember that quality far outweighs quantity. What do I mean by that? You're going to have good days and bad days. So today, if you can only do 6 good quality glute sets, then do 6. If you start to fall apart after that, stop. If you can do 12, do 12. If you can do 19, do 19. If you can do 3, do 3. Really doesn't matter. You want to see a trend of getting stronger and doing more. Now sometimes with glute sets, it really is difficult to extend the knees, okay? Because extending the knees means that my hip has to extend, especially if I'm laying down. If I've had a hip surgery, it might be a little painful to come down this way so that I can squeeze my butt cheeks together. Simple modification for that is to take a pillow, put it under both knees. You can put it flat like this, or if you'd like to, you can double it up. Now you can lay back. Your knees are supported. That means the bend in your hip is somewhat supported as well. I don't know if you can see that, but you've got a bend in your hip now because you have a bend in your knee. But over a period of time, as you get stronger and your range of motion gets better, take that pillow away so that you can really get the full thrust of the exercise that you're supposed to be doing. Now again, use your good judgment. If the doctor has told you to do this exercise, great, go for it. If the doctor hasn't mentioned it or your physical therapist hasn't mentioned it, I would ask them before you continue. Again, after any exercise program, if you're hurting a little bit more, and I really don't want you to go over about a 4/10 on the pain scale. Now, a 4 is about uncomfortable. 2 is annoying, 4 is uncomfortable. I really don't want you to go over a 4. So, if that means that instead of squeezing your butt cheeks together with all your might, you just kind of do a modified squeeze, maybe half the pressure, that's fine too. We want to make rehab comfortable and doable so that you'll come back 2 or 3 times a day and you'll come back the next day and keep working on it. The other important thing is that if you're constantly throwing your body into all this pain, it's just going to fight against you. And that's not going to get you very far down the road, especially when it comes to sleeping at night. You need to sleep at night and fall into that really deep sleep so that your knee or your hip can heal. So remember, quality over quantity, low pain, do your best, and remember this exercise is super, super important because it's really the only exercise that addresses the backside while you're doing rehab. As you're getting up more and everything, we'll start doing more exercises that address the extensors in the low back and the hip. But when you're laying around for a long period of time, glute sets are one of the primary exercises that really address the backdoor muscles. So until next time, thanks for joining us. Go to homehealthpt.com to find out more.